And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. Here we are once again. I don't even know. How many videos have I now made on this channel? I feel like I'm just aging before your eyes. A shell of the former man I once was. Ah, boy, here we are. 2025. Time flies. One thing you guys will hear I talk about a lot on this channel is just time. Time is a fickle thing. Time is one of those very few resources we have as human beings. That's You can't replace it. It's just is what it is. And there's one person in the history of this hobby who is undefeated, and that one person is Father Time. These are things I've said forever. Uh, let's peel back the veil a little bit. I said a lot of things on this channel, thinking things were good buys. There was a very few times I thought things were good sells, but for the most part, I always thought things were a good buy. There were some things that were huge screaming buys. If you guys have been around for a while, you know that there's some channel memes. Special delivery Charizards. I think that was the first time it was ever became like a channel meme where I was saying buy special delivery Charizards. Another one was obviously Pikachu with a gray felt hat. If you look right up there, I don't even know if I could see myself real time. If you look right there, you can see the famous PK in a gray felt hat. I wore that hat for many of videos, and that was a meme. Talking about how Pikachu with gray felt hat was just an amazing play. It was a free promo. I told everybody if you could get one, get one. It's going to be a great buy. It's going to be good short term, long term, and that was a huge meme. And there's multiple. I mean, I don't even know. You could go scroll down my lives. You'll see there. I made thumbnails of me with that hat on. Like it got ridiculous. But there was that, and then there was a little while where Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin booster boxes were available on PokemonCenter.com, and it wasn't. I know what you're hearing. You're like, oh, Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin, those must have, been in stock and then instantly sold out, right, PK? No. This is a different time. This is when they just stayed available. They didn't just stay available for a day, a week, multiple weeks. It was months. Months and months and months. Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin booster boxes were available on PokemonCenter.com. And at the same exact time, while those booster boxes were available at MSRP, the MSRP was, 143 for Sword and Shield booster boxes. If you went on to like TCG Player, prices were 180 a booster box. And once in a while, a random Lost Origin or Brilliant Stars booster box would sell between that 160 to 180 price point, while you could still pick them up at 140. And every day, I'd wake up. Every day I would look to see if they were still available. And I'm not saying I just did this for one day. I did this for weeks. I wake up every day and I would look to see, is today the day that these boxes finally sold out on Pokemon Center? And then, till finally it happened. And then once it happened, that was it. Those booster boxes never were going to reach that price again. This is one of those very few times in the history of this hobby where everyone was in agreement. That's the weird thing. Everyone was in agreement. And I bring up those things for a reason, because I think that they are very important. Because everybody looked into the mirror, the both literal in some sense. I woke up every morning brushing my teeth thinking about Brilliant Stars booster boxes and Lost Origin booster boxes. This is not cap. That is really real thoughts, like every day for weeks. I wake up and I brush my teeth, and I couldn't think about work, couldn't think about what I wanted for breakfast. I just look in the mirror. So it was both figuratively and metaphorically, and then everybody would look into the mirror and be like, it can't be this easy. I think that every single day. And I bought as much as I could. A lot of, Dan likes to throw out the cosplay investor terminology, and that's probably true, but I promise you, I leverage myself as far in that direction as I possibly could without just, yeah, how do I phrase this? I push myself buying those things as far as I possibly could without, I was going to say without like financially ruining myself, but I promise you, in a different universe where those boxes didn't perform well, I probably would have financially ruined myself because I really pushed myself really hard to buy way out of my comfort zone. When I'm talking way out of my comfort zone, I'm talking uh, very, very far. I always say this, I made out of $1,000 bills, but there's only so many $1,000 bills that I made out of before even I start to show my cracks and even I start to disintegrate. I am very poorly poured concrete when it gets a certain dollar amount, and not only do the cracks start to show, the concrete starts to disintegrate around me because there's no rebar like structure underneath that. And I got to that point where the concrete started to really start to, disintegrate around me. And I was like, uh-oh. But every day, I was like, it can't be that easy. But it was. It really, really, really was. That's the thing, too. Like, I want to sit here and be like, this was some genius sealed play. Like, nobody else was thinking about it. Nobody else was doing it. It's not that. It's not some big brain, oh my God, like, this is the Rudy's bathroom play, like, oh my God, like, because that was a lot of luck. It wasn't that. And then people will say there's no such thing as a surefire thing in Pokemon PK. And I'm like, damn, that sure felt like a surefire thing. And I always thought of like, what was the down, I guess, honestly, the negative could have been, what if they just never went out of stock, I guess, on the Pokemon Center? Or maybe that was the thing I was worried about. Because it wasn't a question of if these were going to go up, right? It was just a matter of when. And the when, the answer to that, see, a lot of times we don't know the answer to the equation. A plus B equals C. But we did have the equation for this one. And the answer was just when they went out of stock on Pokemon Center. Like, we knew the formula and we knew the answer, but we didn't know the exact day. And I started to guess. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know my guesses of when certain things are about to go out of stock on Pokemon Center were so good that they were to the day. Okay? They were within 24-hour timelines for a lot of this stuff. And then, yeah. And then that's it. Brilliant Stars, Lost Origin, they just kept going up and up and up and up and away. And here we are where Brilliant Star. And I know this is the thing. A lot of people are new to this hobby and they're going to go, PK is talking out of his ass. There was never this magical period in this hobby where Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin booster boxes were both available on Pokemon Center, and their prices there were cheaper than the price on TCG Player, and PK would go on lives every Thursday and talk about it. That never happened. I bet you there's a group of people who think that. And I promise you, that did happen. That exact scenario played out. It played out for weeks. And that goes to kind of this hobby, but more than just today. A lot of people are watching the Fusion Strike phenomenon that's happening. Phenomenon, that's a good word, right? Is that the movie with oh my God, what's his name? The guy from John Travolta. Is that the movie Phenomenon? John Travolta, he gets hit by the lightning and becomes like a smart dude. Yeah, whatever. I think that's the movie. Maybe that's not the movie. I don't know. This is the problem with streams of conscious thought. I'm just gonna get sidetracked everywhere. But everybody's talking about Fusion Strike right now. The fascination of Fusion Strike. And do you want to know the funny thing about Fusion Strike? Well, when it happens, do you want to know the number one question that is asked when Fusion Strike goes from 400 a box to 800? I bet you think that the number one question that is going to be asked is, PK, is now the time for me to sell my Fusion Strike booster box? I bet you think that's the number one question. No. The number one question that is asked when a Fusion Strike booster box goes from $400 to $800, the number one question that is asked is, should I buy a Fusion Strike booster box? It is. I promise you. That is a number one question people are asking right now. People never want stuff when it's cheap. It's just, So there's certain laws of this hobby. That is one of them. People do not want things when they are cheap. When Fusion Strike boxes were $80, people didn't want them. But now that they're $800, now this is when people start to ask themselves that question. Do I want a Fusion Strike booster box? You know what? Good. Good. Bet you weren't expecting that answer. Good. Not good that you're asking the question, but good that that is the question people are asking. You know why? It's good because it reassures every single thing that I have been doing in this hobby and plan to continue to do. And that is just, for me, the pick up items when things are cheap. And when things get expensive, I just let them go away and I move on to the next thing. That's it. I am very, very fine with when things get out of my price range. I just keep moving along. Promise you. When Fusion Strike was cheap, you want to know what I was doing? I was picking up Fusion Strike because I thought, and it's the greater fool theory, right? That's what this hobby is. That's what this channel is. Make no mistake about it. Any channel that talks about investing or what we're doing in the hobby, you could boil every single one of these videos down to the greater fool theory. All the greater fool theory states is there will always be somebody out there willing to pay more than you for something. Yep. I've been that fool on many of occasions. You think that some of the times I was buying stuff, I wasn't buying at the height of the market? You want to know what I'm doing right now? I'm going to be very transparent with you guys. Every chance that I get to buy 151 right now today, I'm picking up 151. Every chance right now that I'm getting to pick up Paldea Evolved, I'm picking up right now. I am right now, today, at the time of recording this video, I am the greatest fool in that storyline. Because right now, 151, it's at its all-time high. Right now, Paldea Evolved, it's at its all-time high. Well, I feel like people are watching this are like, yeah, but I feel like PK just talked about the greater fool theory in a negative way. Nah, I'm just reassured by that. That down the line, I think somebody will, even though I'm buying 151 right now, and Crown Zenith, I just lay it all on the table. Those are the sets that I'm... Oh, and obviously Prismatic's out there, but Prismatic, if I could pick it up at MSRP or anything even close to MSRP, I'm just scooping up. It's just hard, right? So I didn't really use that because I'm not really paying to acquire positions of Prismatic right now at market. I think I'll have my opportunities to pick up Prismatic cheaper, so I'm not buying Prismatic at current market. But if I can pick up Prismatic at MSRP, sure. Anytime, yes, obviously Prismatic, but I'm talking at market price. I'm buying 151 at market. I'm buying Crown Zenith at market. Sure, a little percentage below market on all these I always try. And then Paldea Evolved, that's it. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. And for those 3 sets, I am the greater fool. Why am I doing this? Why are you still buying PK? Like, shouldn't you be done? Or why aren't you going after something else? I'm just looking at the market and I'm telling you the things that I think right now, even though they're still at the all-time highs, I think all these sets are just primed to go. I think a lot of this Scarlet and Violet stuff is primed. I thought a lot of Sword and Shield stuff was primed. And you know what? The hobby is funny because when you're doing something, people will point and how's this? Everybody's a Monday morning quarterback, but they ignore when you were doing it, while you were doing it, and why you were doing it. Okay, I said a lot of words right there. Why would somebody make fun of you or talk about something afterwards? Okay, what I mean by that is when Scarlet and Violet was really, really cheap, and a lot of people would say good pickups, right? When Scarlet and Violet base was $80, when Paldea Evolved was $95, when some of these sets were pretty cheap, I felt that those sets were going to be, and Paradox Rift and stuff, and I felt those sets were going to be pretty stagnant for a while. Scarlet and Violet base, you know what? I was dead on correct. Scarlet and Violet base was stagnant for a very, very long time. Now, if I just said it was going to be stagnant and then it started to go up and I wasn't making any purchases during that time, I would have looked like a fool. But during that entire time where these sets were stagnant, do you want to know what I was buying? And what I was buying very, very heavily, and what I was very, very super transparent about on this channel talking about was Sword and Shield sets. Because I thought Sword and Shield sets were just priming themselves, getting ready to explode. Tell me a Sword and Shield set that hasn't exploded. They all did. And then you want to know what happened? Now that these Sword and Shield sets exploded, which is what I thought was going to happen, and thank God I wasn't wrong, because once again, probably would have really, really sucked if I was wrong, because I was really, really heavy into those. But you know what? Once those things started to move, then I said, okay. I was reassured because because other stuff was stagnant for a while. But you know what started to get a little older? The Sword and Shield sets. Your Lost Origin, your Silver Tempest, Brilliant Stars. And those were really the ones I went after Fusion Strike. There was a couple people asked me, they said, PK, what do you like as a buy right now? And there was a while I was telling people I liked Evolving Skies at $10 a pack. And then I kept telling people I liked Evolving Skies up till $15 a pack. And that was a really, really dangerous thing to say, because $10 a pack, that wasn't $10 when you factor in a sealed booster box. That was $10 for loose packs. And I was talking to multiple people about it. And then when people would ask me, what am I doing with Evolving Skies when it was $10 and $15 a pack? I came on these lives and I said multiple times, all I could tell you is what I am doing. I am not selling Evolving Skies right now at $10 and $15 a pack. Not selling them, which is crazy to think about. But I just thought that still had room to run. Well, look at Evolving Skies packs right now, which sounds silly because Evolving Skies is not a fun set to open. But people are going to like what they like. And now, I'm not buying any more Sword and Shield, really. I'm just moving on to Scarlet and Violet. And I just told you, I just laid it out there. I gave you 4 sets. 4 sets that I really like right now. I think right now, at current market prices, I just told you the greater fool. When I told you I liked Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin on Pokemon Center, that's still kind of the greater fool. I was the one buying these things at MSRP. And, right now I sit there and it sounds like a great play. But, a lot of people would say, PK, you were buying on PokemonCenter.com. You were late to the game. Because you could have been picking up Brilliant Stars when it was 105. Could have been picking up Lost Origin when it was 105, 110. Like, you're sitting here talking about that was a good play. Like, you missed the bottom. Not only did you miss the bottom, you missed it by a lot. And it's like, yeah, I don't need to buy stuff at the bottom. I just need to pick up stuff when I think it is most primed. That's it. It's now the time to buy or it's time to sell. You know what? It's always the time to buy. Right now. Always the time to buy. I think you could buckshot right now in this hobby. And you could hit stuff. Just start to look at, this is not big brain in it. This is not, a lot of people like to pretend. I want you to understand that every single thing I say on this channel, nothing is big brain in it. It's just timing. Just timing. Is this shit going to start to go out of rotation? Yes. Is this stuff going to be readily available at distribution? No. Is there a chance of a reprint? There's always a chance of reprint. How likely is it? 1%. Very low. Almost nothing. And it's like, okay, if all those things are lining up for me, just that's not big brain in it. To tell you buy stuff when it's getting ready to go out of rotation, I'm just telling you. Now is the time. That's why I said Crown Zenith. I like Crown Zenith. Pokemon's got a lot of shit going on right now. They got a lot of things they need to worry about. Do I think they need to worry about Crown Zenith? And Crown Zenith is just ran up. You know? Crown Zenith cracked that $10 mark. Shout out to, Dan, and Dan lost that bet. I still think it's a good buy. Why? I don't think any more Crown Zenith is coming. I saw the Sea and Sky boxes came out, and I think that was Pokemon's Hail Mary to say, okay, this Crown Zenith set, we think it's going to run away. The best we could do is just print a lot of these packs, see if we could kill Crown Zenith for a little while. And they put a ton of packs on the market. And it did. It squashed down prices for a while. $4, less than $4 a pack. A lot of people were picking them up. And that was readily available. Sea and Sky boxes were readily available. They're done. I think they're done. Is there a chance of reprint? I just told you there's always a chance of reprints. Whatever the percentage is, very low. Sub 10%, sub 5%, maybe 0. Maybe as close to 0 as you can get. What else did I say? 151. 151, they're still pushing out 151 PK. I think they're done with 151. If they're not, whatever reprint of 151 is not going to be big. If anything, I think they're done with 151. I think they tried. They pumped out a lot of 151 for a long time. I think what are they looking at right now? They're looking at prismatic evolutions and the craziness that is prismatic. They're looking at Destined Rivals and the craziness that is Destined Rivals. Even Surge and Sparks, Journey, they're looking at these sets. I don't think they could go back to 151 again. You can't ignore Prismatic right now. Prismatic is the poster child for Pokemon. You can't ignore Destined Rivals. Do you understand what Destined Rivals is? Destined Rivals is the most successful Pokemon TCG product ever released in the history of this hobby. And it hasn't even been released. It's the most successful. Now, does it carry that reign forever? Hell if I know. But right now, it is going to be the most expensive product ever released onto the market. It's Destined Rivals. That makes it the most successful main new release. Now, are these prices sustainable? Probably not, but who knows? So can you ignore Prismatic Evolutions and the most successful set ever? And if anybody's telling you Prismatic or Destined Rivals is not the most successful, I'm basing this off of price at release. Destined Rivals is the most expensive booster box you will have ever seen at release. And if you can think of a booster box that was released that at release cost more than Destined Rivals, please let me know, because it doesn't exist. Okay? It is the most successful booster box based off of hype and demand and price. That's the only thing that really matters. Price is dictated by demand. And don't think that this is a supply issue either. There's a lot of supply. I think that's the thing too, is people don't understand that what distribution is just a giant pizza pie, right? And that pizza pie just keeps getting cut up into smaller and smaller pieces. So when you're really hungry and they give you a piece of this pie, everybody's going to say, oh man, the pizza got smaller. The pizza's the same size. The pizza never shrunk. It's just your slice is smaller. And that's the problem. So now, when people have smaller slices, when the pizza was really big and not a lot of people wanted slices, had a bunch of slices, and you could sell them to people, and you could get rid of all the extra pizza you didn't want, and you didn't need all this pizza. But now, the slice is so small, you need all of it. And you're not even going to get full off that, but you need it all. And then, so you're going to eat that little slice, and now you're going to want more. Who are you going to ask for more? Everyone else got a small slice, too. Well, you could offer to buy somebody's slice. They're hungry, too. You never used to have to do that. You always had a big slice. So now you want to buy that slice of pizza from them, you're going to have to pay a lot of money for that. And that's it. Everyone got their small slice, and nobody's really willing to get rid of it. So what does Pokemon have to do? They got to keep making pizzas. Now the problem is by the time they make that next pizza, they give you another little slice. And guess what? You waited so long, you're hungry again. And they make another pizza. They give you another skinny slice. And you're like, well, I'm a little full. I've been sitting here waiting an hour. Then it was an hour and a half. Kind of like starting to get hungry again. And they just can't pump out the pizzas fast enough. That's it. That's the problem. That's his hobby. Oh, it's now time to buy or sell. Listen, if you need the money, I'm going to tell you right now. When should you sell? Are you over leveraged? Is this it? Is this make or break for you? Have you not positioned yourself for the last, 5 years? If you're not positioned, sell. Sell it all. Pay off your credit card debt. Do whatever you got to do to get yourself right. Start fresh. I think you could start fresh right now. That's a crazy thing, too. I think now is as good of a time as any to jump into this hobby. There's a lot of bullish signs right now. A lot of top signals. I'm telling you, I think now is still a good time to get in. It's like anything that has just gone up parabolic, as long as you think it's out of that print window, just buy it. Buy it. You want Fusion Strike right now? I don't know. Buy it. Yeah, it just went up double. Fuck it. Buy it. You want Brilliant Stars? Buy it. You want Lost Origin? Buy it. You want Silver Tempest? Buy it. You want Sword and Shield base? Go for it. You want Rebel Clash? Go for it. Darkness Blaze? Go for it. Vivid? Go for it. Brilliant? Go for it. Chill and Pain? Go for it. Fusion Strike? Go for it. Bobbin Skies? Go for it. Brilliant? Go for it. Lost Origin? Silver? Astral? Go for it. Go for it. Now, out of all those sets I just named, I promise you, some of them are going to perform way worse than others. For me, the way I would look at those sets is what hasn't popped yet. But now the problem is just because a set hasn't popped doesn't mean it will. Sword and Shield, Rebel Clash, those both have already popped. Darkness Ablaze and Vivid, those haven't popped. Battle Styles, it kind of popped. It was available on Pokemon Center forever. But it popped. It's like $1.99. It hasn't really popped yet. Astral Radiance hasn't popped yet. It's got that DoorDash Machamp in it. It's got the Altart Palkia. It's got the Dialga. It's got the Starmie V in Astral Radiance. Solid set. Is Astral Radiance a sleeper? I'd say probably. I'd say for dollar amount right now of all Sword and Shield sets, I think Astral Radiance is the next to pop. And what does pop mean? It's just look at the graphs. Like you know when shit pops. If you don't know, if you're watching this channel and you don't know what popping means for a set, Astral Radiance is the next. And then I don't know. That's probably my next popper. Who cares if we're wrong? I'd say Astral's probably the next popper. Meaning we're going to see a big jump. But then that's it. Once these things, they do big jumps. But that's the thing, too. It's like, you can buy any of this stuff. You'll probably do fine on any of it. But it's just, where's your money best right now? And that's the thing too, is I'm just constantly moving. And you got to do the same thing. When things get too expensive, move away from them. Like, I told you want to buy Fusion, go ahead. I'll tell you what I'm not doing. Well, that's not true. I would still buy Fusion loose packs, but that is different because loose pack prices are so different than the sealed product price. But I'm not buying any of these like crazy sets that just popped right now. I'm just looking for the next thing. That's it. Just keep moving. And you know what? What I'm saying right now today is probably going to change next month. And it's going to change. So right now I just told you the 4 sets that I like more than anything else. Obviously Prismatic at MSRP. That's not, and that's buying it. People are saying some people think Prismatic's dropping below MSRP. I don't. I think it's just a good buy. Pick it up right now. Do I think Prismatics is going to be printed for a long time? Yes, I do. Do I think it's going to be desired for a long time? Yes, I do. I think there's going to be a multiple year window where Prismatic is getting pumped out onto the market, but I think if you could get an MSRP, that's a good pickup. I'm not picking it up at market right now. That's a pass. I'm passing at market and picking up at MSRP. I think market's like whatever. I don't know. $12 a pack or whatever. I'm passing. Pass on that. 151, acquire. Crown Zenith, acquire. Paldea Evolved, acquire. That's it. And then I don't know. 2 months from now, I might be sitting here telling you, because right now I look at some sets that are super undervalued for what they are. Temporal Forces, Paradox Rift. Those things are about to fucking start ripping. Make no mistake about it. We're like a month or 2 away from those ripping. I'm letting you guys know what the future looks like. Paradox, Temporal, they're gonna rip. We're just not there yet. But they're gonna. Wait, it's May 15th. Watch, I bet you by June 15th, I'm starting to buy Paradox. I'm starting to buy Temporal. Because the same way as I like Paldea Evolved right now, I wouldn't be surprised in 1, 2, maybe 3 months. I'm talking about Paradox Rift and Temporal. That's it. It's just move with where you think the market is right now. I just don't think the market's there yet for these sets, but I think it's going to get there. I think other things are going to pop first, and then I think stuff's going to stagnate, because that's usually what happens. Stuff pops, stagnates, everything around it kind of goes back up, because this hobby doesn't just move like this with products. The hobby just eventually goes up. What is that? Rising tides lift all ships? I guess that's a good analogy, huh? I never really thought about that. The hobby, it just kind of goes up like this. Little things, though. If you zoom in, you see these little spikes of the certain sets. But given enough time, everything just rises together. Now, when you're living in the day-to-day, it doesn't feel like that. But when you pull yourself out and you look at, like, the big picture, everything moves up. So you just gotta be there. That's how I interact in this hobby. I make this channel for a very special type of person. I talk to a very special type of person. I'm not really that much of a buckshotter in the sense as I'm trying to just narrow in. That's it. I try, and you know what? I could be wrong on stuff. I gave you some example of shit that I was really right on. Don't forget, the number one thing that this channel was based off of, the first thing I ever talked about, the first buys I talked about on this channel, and the creation of this channel, revolved around Cosmic Eclipse. That was the number one buy when this channel created. And in fact, I talked about Cosmic Eclipse on every single video. To the point where I stopped talking about Cosmic Eclipse because I was worried about losing viewers. Because I thought Cosmic Eclipse was a good buy. Because at the time, I told people to buy Cosmic Eclipse at 150. And that was in 2020, end of 2020. That Cosmic Eclipse was a 1-year-old set at that time. Cosmic Eclipse was released in November 2019. I told people to buy Cosmic Eclipse at 150 in end of 2020. It was only a year old. Everyone said Cosmic was getting a reprint. And I liked it at 150. And then I liked it again at 180. I said it was a buy again. People told me I was crazy. How did that one age? That one aged pretty well. How's Cosmic Eclipse doing these days? Pretty good? Pretty good. That is a fundamental of this channel. It's based around cosmic eclipse. We booming. What did I also say a couple months back? Do you remember? I said what you need to be. Yeah, I don't know. I don't need. I've said a lot of stuff on this channel. Eventually you're gonna be right about enough stuff, and I don't have to keep saying about all the stuff I was right. But if you've made any Pokemon content ever talking about this market, I guess we were all right, right? Like everybody was right. Everybody was kung fu fighting, and everybody was fast as lightning. All right. That's my normal PK rant. What do I go? 35 minutes. Pat myself on the back. Trying to remove my ribs and S, my own D. All right, let's see. We got number one mod in the game, Drew. Drew, good to see ya. Drew said, hey, PK. Good to see ya. Namp90. Hi, PK. Hi, Namp. Claire. Kevin Clare said bye. I think it's a bye. I think things are a good buy. I don't see stuff really dropping right now. I mean, the things I would be most worried. All right, so I talked about what to buy. Things I'd be hesitant. All right, let's talk about things that I'm worried about buying. Journey Together. Journey Together is my number one set that scares me the most. That is my number one fearful set. That is the number one set that I am not buying. Journey Together. I could be wrong. And if that day comes, you know what? When Journey Together gets older and it gets out of that reprint window, my tune will change on Journey Together. But right now, I am most fearful of Journey Together. That is my number one. My number two is Prismatic at current market prices. That is my number two. So, whatever. 12 plus, $13 a pack. That is my number two most fearful. Well, I said I'm still, which is funny, because it's also one of the top four that I'm picking up. Because I said if I could get it at MSRP, I will. But I'm also most fearful of it at current market prices. So it's weird that you could have the same set be on both ends of your spectrum. Most fearful for and the one you're acquiring. Destined Rivals. Am I fearful for Destined Rivals? At pre-order, yes. I think it's too volatile. I think now it's hard to look at Japanese and then to look at English, but kind of seeing what Glory of the Team Rocket is doing does worry me a little bit when I think about Destined Rivals. Heatwave Arena plus Destined Rivals, though, both good sets. I'd be very hesitant on it. I wouldn't be buying it at current market. I think Destined Rivals, we see more and more of it. The new black and white set, too early. I need to see the opening experience. I need to see some of the artworks. I feel like if the artworks are strong, it's gonna be a crazy set. But I need to see the artworks. I think what the problem with the Black Bolt and White Flame set, I think the problem is going to be longevity of that set, because I think that's going to be one of those specialty sets that Pokemon prints a lot of, because it does run into a weird issue where it's two different sets with the same thought. I mean, we see it obviously. I just said Destined Rivals is Heatwave Arena and Glory of the Team Rocket. My worry about a Black Bolt and a White Flame is there will be products in the future, and mark my words, like if I'm wrong in 2 years from now, I'll even go 3-year window, it's going to be around for a while. If I'm wrong about this, there will be a multi-set product. So imagine Sea and Skybox from that you saw at your Costco's and your whatever. Yeah, Costco. I think, was it Costco? Where the Sam's Club. See, it was Sam's Club. Whatever. Sea and Sky boxes. Imagine that size box with that many packs there's going to be a box that comes out in the future, a premium collection box that's going to have a ton of packs in it, and half of them are going to be Black Bolt and half of them are going to be White Flame. It'll be interesting though to see how like the cards are in it, and it will be very curious to see if one of the sets kind of runs away in prices opposed to the other. And I think a good example would be people would, now this is the same set, but you look at just different ETBs of the same set. So like you got the Koraidon and the Miraidon for Scarlet and Violet base, and you look at the ETB prices of those, and you're like, well, Scarlet and Violet base, well, that's the same set. But yeah, well, one of the ETBs is worth way more. And it's like, well, why? Because of one card. It's only going to take one card to make either Black Bolt or White Flame pull far away from each other. Now, at release, they'll probably be pretty close, but the same way as you saw it with just an ETB, which literally has all the same packs in, and it's just a promo separates that, and you start to see ETB prices like one of them goes away, like the Miraidon will be more than the Koraidon forever. And like it just is what it is, and especially when you add in like the Pokemon Center variants, and it just is what it is. Now I think the same thing happens with Black Bolt and White Flame, but there will be a combination product that exists in the future, and that's the problem with a set like that. It'll be around for a while, and then Pokemon, we're running into this weird issue like where we got like truncated timelines and stuff with sets. Obviously this, I don't know. We're moving into like a new era again. Is it going to be a truncated timeline like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, based, Unleashed, Undaunted, Triumphant, like, 4-set, mini set, Platinum base, Rise of Rivals, Supreme Victors, Arceus, like, you're going to have mid-era sets that's only 4. Platinum was 4, Heart Gold, Soul Silver was 4, Call of Legends is a standalone, obviously. It doesn't really count. So, like, maybe we're going to run into that timeline, which will bring us into the 30th anniversary, too, which the 30th will be interesting. A lot of people are talking, like, you think 30th is going to be, like, a huge moment for the hobby? And it's like, yeah. Like, what's the question? What's the other question? Do I think the 30th anniversary is going to hurt at the hobby? And it's just like, there's only one answer. It's yes, it's going to be good. Like, I just don't see where it's bad. Like, what can Pokemon do? It's like, well, they keep reprinting shit. I mean, they're paying homage to older stuff. They're obviously the black and white with all 162 cards getting a full art. And then we got going back, really Japanese gets all the specialty sets. Like, you got the 10th or promo, I shouldn't even say sets, promos, 10th anniversary promos, obviously the 15th anniversary promos for Pokemon. And then in English, we saw, Generations was our 20th anniversary set, but then Evolutions was really XY12, so XY Evolutions doesn't count as our 20th anniversary set, but in Japanese, it's CP6, it's literally the 20th anniversary set in Japan. But because we had Generations for the 20th anniversary set, we just think of Evolutions as a main expansion, and it was printed forever. And then for the 25th anniversary set was Celebrations, and it's like, well, what did Celebrations do? Well, Celebrations brought back a little bit of everything. It brought back your original big 3, which you didn't get in Evolutions. Like, Evolutions, it only had the Charizard reprint. They left out the Blastoise. They left out the Venusaur. Like, why? I don't know, but they did. And then, for at least Celebrations, they brought those back. But then they brought back cards that people thought were dead, and not only brought back dead cards, they brought back dead concepts. They brought back Gold Stars for Celebrations. And no, I'm not talking about the Pop Series 5 Umbreon that they turned into a holo as part of the Classic Collection. No, they created a brand new Gold Star just for Celebrations. Literally, the Greninja promo for the Celebrations ETB was a brand new Gold Star. It's the first Gold Star we've literally gotten since Power Keepers. Power Keepers being the last Gold Star set. Like, it was a new Gold Star. And what Pokemon did they use? A fan favorite, Greninja. That is a big Gold Star. and everybody liked it. Impossible to grade. Oh my god, talk about a tough grade. Look at that pop report. Look how many Greninjas were graded, how many are 10s. Like, you want a sleeper, you want to go buy a PSA 10, go buy yourself a Greninja PSA 10. That's probably a good pickup. Yeah, you think I would... that's probably a good thing. You should probably go buy one of those. Just to have one. Because it's really, really hard to grade. And it's probably going to do okay. But then what else did they bring back? Like, they paid homage to everything. They brought back new level X cards with like the Zacian level X. They brought back light and dark Pokemon for the first time. You got the light Toxtricity was a promo. You got the Dark Sylveon was a promo. You had the Lance's Charizard V box and the Dark Sylveon box. They literally brought back light and dark Pokemon. They brought back Delta Species cards. Everyone loves Delta Species. And they used Mimikyu. They gave you a Delta Species Mimikyu. Another promo. They brought back Prime cards. They brought back the Don Fan. They brought back baby cards from Neo Gen with the Cleffa. They brought back black and white full arts with the Zekrom and Reshiram. They paid homage to so much stuff. Like, Pokemon, they brought back Megas. You had the Mega Rayquaza. They brought back everything. They paid so much homage to so many things. They even played homage to the OG Wizard of the Coast Black Star promos. They brought back the birthday Pikachu. OG Black Star promos. They paid homage to so many things. That's the thing. Some people didn't like celebrations. I liked it. Some people didn't like... They even played to the playability. Brought back cards from Team Rocket. You know. Here comes Team Rocket cards. They brought back a lot of stuff. They did some cards that were just because... They brought back the Claydol. Claydol because it was playable. You know? They went to Team Aqua versus Team Magma. You know? And brought back the Groudon. Like, they did a lot of stuff in that set. And anybody that talks shit about celebrations, fuck that person. Because they obviously just don't care about... They just, whatever. I don't know. They don't care enough. Maybe because it wasn't a big enough set. I'll give them that. But, like, Pokemon did a lot. Celebrations fucking slapped. You know what? The 30th anniversary, I don't know what they're going to do. Can they pay homage to Gen 2 next? Why not? People are like, what do you want? Like, what would be your 30th anniversary set? So, we've seen an homage, well, not an homage, we've seen a collab of all the original sets. You got base set Jungle Fossil, your first 3 sets. The 4th set Pokemon ever made was base set 2, was a combination of those 3 sets. For the 30th anniversary, what's to say Pokemon doesn't do a Neo set? And you just do a collab of the 4 Neo sets. There's 4 Neo sets. Neogen base, then you got Discovery, Neo Rev, which has your Magikarp and Gyarados, and then Neo Destiny. Yeah, it has the best shiny that exists, and it's Raichu, and there's only one answer to that question. Some people are going to say the Charizard, but the Charizard's a dumb fucking card. It's the Charizard flying away. It's the ass of the Charizard literally farting in your face, and it's the worst artwork of all the shiny cards is the Charizard. Yeah, throw your shade at me. The shiny Charizard sucks. It's the worst artwork. The Raichu is the best. It's the best. It's always has been, always will be. Best there was, best there is, best there ever will be. But imagine just a 30th anniversary set that's literally just a composite of the original 4 Neo Gen set. Neo Discovery has the original Moonbryon. If you had an original Moonbryon, people would just fucking cream their pants. It would just ectoplasma everywhere. But you know what? They don't have to just do... And I say this before, like, people don't want like this. They don't want this little teeny box, right? But what you do, you take Neo Gen and you find all the original artists. So from Neo Gen base, you got a Lugia and the T17. You take those cards, you give them to the original artist, and you have them expand on the card. We've already seen it happen. Once again, in Celebrations, the 25th anniversary set, what do we see it with? The Pikachu. The OG Pikachu artwork from base set. They gave it to Mishihiro Rita. They said, expand on this. And what did he do? He took that little box of a card and he expanded it to a full art OG Pikachu for Celebrations. And it was an awesome, awesome card. People don't appreciate it enough because it wasn't rare or it wasn't hard to pull, so people don't care about that card as much. But it's a beautiful art. If that Pikachu happened to be a secret rare or something in a set, and there wasn't in every other pack that you were pulling one of those full art Pikachus, you better bet your ass that would be one of the most sought after cards in the hobby if that was a secret rare of some set. Or some alt art chase or some big chase. But it just didn't have the chase to it, so nobody really cared about it. But do that with all these Neo sets. Give them back to the original artist. Have them expand on the artwork. That original Moonbreon, the original Moonbreon, expand out the artwork. Game over. Good night. 30th anniversary would slap. That is just one thought of a million things Pokemon could do. 30th anniversary is going to be huge. Everybody's waiting for Pokemon to slow down. It's not slowing. Not for a while. And then, people think that the 30th anniversary just brings the hard stop to everything. There's going to be something after the 30th. And it's going to take a lot to kill this hype right now. And you know what? I don't know what it's going to take. We're not there yet. Ugh. All right. Sorry, I made it, what? One question that, I got it to Kevin Clare. Katie says, dearly beloved, we're gathered here today to get through this PK rant on the hobby. Yes, we are. Katie, I'm sorry to you, Katie. I'm sorry that everybody has to tune in weekly. You know, well, nobody has to tune in. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. How you could do it for all these years, all these months, all these weeks, all these days, all these hours, how you guys have listened to this for all this time. Once again, just congratulations to everybody. You guys are, if you've been sticking through this for all this time, congratulations. You are probably doing awesome. And when I use the word probably, let me replace the word with, you are not probably doing awesome. You are doing awesome. Congratulations. You should be happy with yourself. A lot of people lack conviction, and you have that. Good for you. Good on you. Pokemage says, Van Gogh Pikachu is a force of nature. Nobody can stop it. And we got Drew literally dropping the PK meme that I have for channel members. Greg Z said, those were the good old days. I picked up a case of each. So happy I followed your advice. Oh, talking about the Lost Origin and Brilliant Stars. Yeah. JB says, I was buying a Lost Origin and Brilliant Stars along with you, PK. JB, I mean, there we go. Greg Z says, you talked about it every week. I did. That's a crazy thing. Let's see. So Boss Trainer says, I bought 2 Scarlet and Violet base box and Temporal Forces boxes because they're cheap. You're probably going to do fine. So JB says, Scarlet and Violet 1 through 4 were stagnant. People were fire selling them. I picked up a case of Paradox Rift for $4.80. So the crazy thing about what I do is I never sold any of my Scarlet and Violet for cheap. None of it. I just wasn't buying. I was just picking up Sword and Shield. Well, that's it. That's when shit's cheap. But see, maybe that's where my problem is. Maybe because I'm in a position where I could hold for when stuff is cheap, I'm just going to hold. And when stuff is expensive, you can sell. It's like, oh, well, it must be nice. And it's like, yeah, that is pretty nice. That I'm not in a position where when shit's just cheap, I just don't hold. And in fact, when shit's cheap, I'm doing the acquisition phase. Maybe that's my problem. And I will man up and say that maybe not everyone's in that position. But I'm going to honestly say this from the bottom of my heart. I think anybody could get to that position where you can, and that's just buying within your means. Now, do I do that all the time? No, I do not buy within my means all the time. I literally sat here and told you that I could have been in a lot of trouble with Brilliant and Lost Origin. But, you take those risks, and if the risks pay off, so be it. If they don't, you have to at least understand they exist. I think that could be the worry, too, is that people don't understand that the risks do actually exist. And they do. Eric says, PK, what are your top 5 sets of Scarlet Violet so far? No. 151, Twilight, How They Evolved, Prismatic, and the Death's Rivals, because it's the newest set, and therefore the greatest. They're by the rules of Pokemon. But that's the thing, too. I was really bullish on Twilight Masquerade. I got quite a big position in Twilight Masquerade. Was it my best performer? No. Am I disappointed in it? No. But I really like Twilight. Why? Because I thought there was some irrationality going on around Twilight. And I saw the print numbers of Twilight, and they were much lower than all the other sets. And it seemed very apparent that Pokemon slowed down on Twilight pretty hard. And I went, I'm pretty in tune with this market. I don't think that was a good play by Pokemon. But again, maybe Pokemon see something I don't see. But then again, what did I do? If you are not new to this channel, for weeks, I did a heat check on Twilight Masquerade booster box cases on Hills. For weeks. It was like, all right. And I would say, like, as is tradition on the channel, let's go do a heat check on Twilight Masquerade. We started doing the heat check at $5.95 a case. Less than $600 a case for Twilight Masquerade is when we started doing our heat checks. That was heat check number 1, was sub $600 a case. And then I proceeded to check Twilight Masquerade. Now, you can say, PK, other stuff went higher than Twilight in the meantime. Yeah. But, to quote Scott Pratt, I got 2 balls and neither one of them are crystal. I'm just going to go with the information that is in front of me. And at the time, Twilight Masquerade was a brand new set. So that is a fucking scary thing to do. Like, I don't think people understand that when I was doing heat checks of Twilight Masquerade, it was probably really, really dumb for a lot of people. It's like, why is PK doing a heat check on a set that was released a week ago? Like, probably a lot of people thought that was a really, really stupid thing to do. And in fact, when you think of all this hobby, there's probably like no one has ever done heat checks on a set at release that was cheap. Okay? And not only was I right about that you look at the timeline that I was doing heat checks of Twilight. It is not a long timeline of a set that was super primed for reprints. Gonna get reprints. Everybody was talking, oh, Twilight is not a good investment. And what did I do? I just said week after week after week after week, we did heat checks on Twilight. You got a feeling. When you go to my first time I talk about it, was a brand new set, I said, listen, I got a feeling about Twilight Masquerade. If you don't own a booster box, just at least buy one. Just put one. I think it's going to be a good play at these prices. You know what? There's going to be people who are going to discover this channel for the first time, and they're going to hear that, and they're going to think that I'm lying. They're going to be like, there's no way that this guy was doing heat checks on Twilight Masquerade. I think I started doing heat checks on Twilight. Oh, I got to go back and watch the first one. Was it before it was released? Was it still pre-order? I don't even remember. I don't remember. That I don't remember. But it was early on, which is probably really, really dumb. Anyways. So, OG Weedle Farmer said, Team Rocket grunts would love to scalp Destined Rivals if there's money to be made. There's blood in the water. The Team Rocket grunts will be there. Remember, These Team Rocket grunts were so greedy. These people tried to steal the same stupid Pikachu for 20 plus seasons of Pokemon. Uh, So Boss's trainer says, I really always wanted Rebel Clash, and I don't really know what's in it. It used to be really cheap that long ago. Are you asking if it used to be really cheap that long ago? It did. Rebel, there's a reason Rebel Clash had the nickname Rebel Trash. It had like Boss's orders in it and an Inteleon. It definitely wasn't a super like sought after set. Nobody really wanted Rebel Clash, and in fact, it was very looked down upon. Shout out to Son of Mewtwo. Son of Mewtwo, good to see you in the chat, buddy. Let's see. Dad's Deck TCG says, I hugely regret selling off my boxes too early, but hindsight is 2020. Hindsight is always 2020. That's why when Captain Hindsight comes in, he's always correct. So Gengar says, I went on Evolving Skies, a Build and Battle stadiums at $80 a box. Doing very well on those. Build and Battle stadiums. I think I got one somewheres. Yes, those are good pickups too. So Fresh Tat says that Destin Rivals is missing a Zard. It is missing a Zard. But hey, this is the thing we say. These are real conversations. Zard fatigue. Are there too many Zards? Unfortunately, I think the answer to that is never. We've never seen too many Zards. How many sets have Zards? How many Zards exist? A lot. You know? No way. JB says Astro Radiance booster boxes at $450. Is that high? I'm thinking Astro Radiance single pack prices then. Oh, another thing too is I'm really going heavy on packs lately. I should be saying that more often. So Jimbo says, I want some Destin Rivals, but I don't think it's going to be very affordable. We'll see soon. We will see. DB Royalty says, ever since you've opened my eyes to Dragon Ball Z cereal boxes, I've been closely following your advice. That was a random one. It is true though. Where is it? See, people don't. Some of you guys know. Some of you guys don't know. This box was $40. That's how much. Not like on the secondary market. This was from Reese'sPuff.com. I literally did a live, and I paused the live, and I was like, "Listen, guys, just gotta warn everybody. I know I don't usually talk about non-Pokemon stuff, but I paused my live and I pulled up the Reese'sPuffs.com or whatever, and I was like, just so you guys know, on Reese'sPuffs.com right now exists a pre-order for Reese's Puff cereal. And I was like, this is a $40 cereal box. And I know I'm going to sound crazy to a lot of people out in the chat, but I think everybody should go out and buy this cereal box. That is, again, there's some people hopping in who are watching this channel for the first time and going, this guy is so full of shit. He did not pause a live and start talking about a $40 cereal box on pre-order. I did. I definitely did. Ooh, that's a good question. What about Champion's Path? Will Champion's Path rip soon? Ooh, you know what? That's a good one. I feel like Champion's Path just sucks open. Yeah, probably. Champion's Path, it probably next to rip. That's a good one. I didn't think about that. I picked up some Champion's Path. God, I was doing some. When did I pick up Champion purchases? I wanted it when I felt like Champion's Path. Champion's Path. Nope. Wait, that can't be right. Why am I only coming up with buying sealed promos? V boxes? What was I buying? Oh god, did I buy them on my other account? I don't know. I bought some Champions Path boxes a while back. Uh, so 50 says, why didn't you tell me to buy Team Up, damn it? Yes, Team Up. Roxy says, I think I messed up. I bought a box of Unified Minds over Cosmic Opes a few years ago. It was only $200 difference at the time. That's all right, Roxy. Just like Thrifty said, I messed up. I told everyone to buy Cosmic Cliffs when I could have been telling people to buy Team Up. So I messed up. So Max Potion said, I wish I listened to you more, PK. Hi, Max. I appreciate you, though, buddy. So Cheval says, you can't sell when you got no sealed, and you can't buy when you ain't got no money. Any legal suggestions, PK? No, I do not have any legal suggestions. Find yourself a good lawyer. That is my legal suggestion to you. Black and White has so many cards in it, too. Yeah, it's going to be huge. I don't know. This is going to... So my thing with the new Black and White set is if the pack opening experience is there, people will want it even more. Because when you think about Prismatic, it's just like Evolving Skies. When you look at Evolving Skies and Chill and Rain too, you look at Chill and Rain on paper, it looks like a great set. Oh my god, look at all these beautiful cards. You look at Evolving Skies on paper, you go, oh my god, what an awesome set. You want to know what happens when you open up Evolving Skies? You hit a fucking Garbodor. You hit a fucking pile of trash, both figuratively and literally. You hit a pile of trash when you open up Evolving Skies. And then same thing with Prismatic. You look at Prismatic on paper, you're like, there's 33 SIRs. Oh my god! And what's the worst one? A Petrant? Oh, and a couple trainers, a Crispin, and a Drayton. These are the worst ones. Like, look at all these good ones. There's 9 evolutions. All of them. Look at that Umbreon. This is a slam. Yeah, but then you open it and you're like, oh, this set sucks to open. But then you have a set like Crown Zenith, where Crown Zenith is just banger after banger. But, well, why is Crown Zenith a fun set? Well, it's got a 70 card Galarian Gallery subset to it. 70 Galarian Gallery cards is a fucking lot. People don't realize it. Crown Zenith only has 159 cards in it. Only one of those cards, and only one secret rare. So the secret rare Pikachu is number 160 out of 159. Like, everyone's like, what about the gold cards, PK? Those are secret rares. The Arceus, Dialga, Palkia, Garantina, those 4 golds. You forget about those, PK? Yeah, they're part of the Galarian Gallery. That 70 card Galarian Gallery subset, they're part of it. And then, yeah, you got the Mewtwo V-Star too. But, like, there's 70 Galarian Gallery. Now, all Galarian Gallery cards are not created equal. And how can you tell? Well, there's texture on some of them. That's a pretty good giveaway. But, so, like, yeah, you're going to probably pull a lot of Miltanks and shit. But, you know what? And you're going to pull some Swablues and stuff, and some maybe of the lower chase Galarian Galleries. But then you're still going to say, like, oh, well, there's a Raikou, Suicune, Entei. There's a Leafeon. There's a Glaceon. There's that Arceus, Dialga, Palkia, Garantina, like I mentioned. Like, there's a Zacian, Zamazenta, beautiful cards, you know? Even the Regigigas is a super cool card. Like, there's a lot of, like, high tier, you know, Deoxys, too. There's so many good cards. It's just an all-around solid set. So, because with 70 Galarian Galleries, like, they're not all going to be created equal, and the ones that are the big chases are so far away from the other ones. But the same thing with Black Bolt and White Flame. When you got 162, you know, cards, each one of them getting an illustration rare, if the pack opening experience is there and people actually are enjoying it, people are going to want to open it even more. And then if people actually do want to try to complete the set, or at least open a bunch of packs to get there and then pick up the singles that they can't rip, like, the demand for this set to be ripped will be crazy. Now, we're only really focusing on the 162 IRs. Something tells me that this set is also going to have SIRs. And when you have a set with good SIRs, it's like, okay. It's the same thing I mentioned I'm picking up Paldea Evolved right now. It's like, well, why? It's like, well, there's a ton of SIRs, but there's 36 illustration rares. Yeah, there's the T-Tar, there's a Magikarp, there's a Meryl. Like, those are big ones. But there's like some lower end ones too. Like whatever, like the Sandy Gast or something's in Paldea Evolved. So there's some lower end IRs, but to pull the actual one you want, it's tough. To just pull the Magikarp, it's tough. Last on Friday, so the time I'm recording this video is on Thursday, but on Friday I pulled 2 of them. So less than a week ago I pulled 2 on Friday. But I had to open a lot of packs to open up 2 Magikarps. You know. And then it's going to have what a lot of sets are lacking nowadays. It's going to have set identity. That's one thing that I've been preaching on this channel. That's the thing, too. You watch this channel a lot, you're going to be like, God damn it. BK just talks about the same shit all the time. He's talking about set identity again. Yeah, set identity matters. And you know what these sets are going to have? Set identity. Same thing with 151. 151's got set identity. Why? Because the original 150 fucking Kanto Pokemon, or 151, original 151. Shout out to Mew. Sorry, Mew. I left you out there. Original 151 Pokemon. Like, set identity. When you open up 151, you're not like, oh my god, I can't believe there's a Tangela in here. Maybe you're like, I can't believe they made Tangela into an IR, but you're not amazed by it because you know what to expect. And you know what? With black and white, when you open it up, and you're going to know what's in there. And you're not going to be surprised. And it's going to have great set identity. And you know what? I hope they have some banger-ass SIRs too. Special illustration rares. That's it. And that set's just going to slap. And then you know what? We're going to be in such a good spot. We're going to go in, and we're going to finally have, maybe we'll have our Crown Zenith of Scarlet and Violet. Just a Crown Zenith S-type set. And you know what? Pokemon usually does that. They usually put out a good specialty set with great hit rates. Because fucking the hit rates in Prismatic sure weren't doing it for us. Like I told you, you look at it on paper, it's great, but it's just not. In reality, it's just not good. Because it's not fun. And because it's not fun, and because the cards are hard to pull, the single prices stay high. The sealed product value, because the singles are so expensive, the sealed product is expensive. Now, when you look at like a Crown Zenith, I told you Arceus, Dialga, Palkia, Giratina, those were good cards, but you saw what happened. The Giratina is arguably the most expensive card in it. You saw that card got beat down with how many cards existed of it and how much was being ripped. And then you know what? The market did what the market did, and the market just kept going on up. But there was a while where you could have got that card for cheap. But again, the secret of this hobby, which is not a secret, nobody wants stuff when it's cheap. Nobody. I promise you. Nobody wants shit when it's cheap. People only want stuff when it's expensive. Alright. Dad's Decks, I wouldn't mind a reprint of Knight's Little Team Rocket or Team Rocket Returns, yeah. With a generic 30th anniversary Pikachu stamp. Yeah, I could deal with that. Nice little Glory of the Team Rocket. Well, I think because we just had Destined Rivals, I think Pokemon probably wouldn't go back to back with like Rocket sets. Let's see. Let's see. Son of Mewtwo says, this is the PK I'm here for. I appreciate Son of Mewtwo. Let's see. Okay, so Namp says, in the TCG Pocket, Tanaka expanded her Slowpoke artwork from Fossil. Interesting. So I mentioned Generations. Shout out to Generations. Generations also has the Slowpoke artwork in it as well. So a little reprint. People forget about Generations Slowpoke. But oh, interesting. Expand. So there we go. Expanded artwork now. Max Potion with the good advice. He says, everybody hit that like on the stream. Why are you guys not hitting the like button? Is it over here? Is it over here? Is it this way? Hit right down there. Really? Don't be like Mason. Mason from Cardinal Gaming, my man, has never hit the like button on a single video. And he said he never will either. Well, fuck you, Mason. Hit that like button. One time. calling my shot. Jimbo Slice says, I kept buying Lost Origin because it was cheap compared to everything else at the time. Hope it pays off. Yeah. So Red's card case says, yo, PK, you still have your simplified Chinese. Yeah, there's one right there. Right there next to the Duff beer can. The Garcia beer is sitting on it. It's hard to see with the glare. Yeah, I still got them. I don't even know if I should show you the Chinese cards. I don't even know. I don't even know. This could just destroy this. Do I want to? Nah. Not gonna do it. Do I want to do it? Do I want to do this right now? I want to ruin this. Yeah, let's ruin it. It's been too fun. Bang. Alright. Good. People have to make it to the end of the video, even to see that. We got Tap gifting the 5 PK memberships. Tap, I appreciate you, buddy. Alright, that's the end of my PK Live. Nobody made it to the end. Only the real ones will have seen that. Alright, guys, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. As always, guys, be safe. And as always, I'll catch you on the next video. Later, guys. Look at that. Hour 16 minutes. Not too shabby. Just shorter and shorter lives.